Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Speak. I am your host, CleoDaGodmother, and I am here to talk about all things Black woman, all things Black girl, all things Black.
Her aura, breathtaking. Her name, Black woman. I am Chelsea Coleman, aka CleoDaGodmother, the creator and host of BlkGirlsSpeak TV, and this is Black Girls Speak, a podcast for and about informing, uplifting, and empowering women of color across the globe.
The goal for today is to start paying attention to the others that are also included in making a entertaining film. That means the director, the casting agent, the costume designer, the set designer, the cinematographer. Who are they? What do they do? How do they contribute? I think that life would be just a little bit more interesting if we paid a little bit more attention to those people who actually make the film a film. The song for the week is Allergic by none other than Mac Infinity. I will have his album in the description box below. Let's get into the recent topics. Shayna Bell was arrested at her job and taken to jail on February 11th for leaving her two children, ages 10 and 2, in the hotel room while she was at work. Now, there are speculations that the father of the children was the one who actually called the police on her, which is interesting. But that's another conversation for another episode. I want you all to know that we've raised, because I've also donated, we've raised $150,000 for this woman who literally didn't even have anywhere to stay. So, if the father of the children did in fact call the police on her, I hope karma is eating you up right now. Now, Serena Williams defeated her opponent. I don't know how to pronounce her name, so I'm not gonna try on this camera or on this mic. Serena Williams defeated her opponent at the quarterfinals of the Grand Slam in Australia, and her opponent was quite upset, even throwing her tennis racket on the ground. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Serena Williams also let people know that she didn't like the fact of how the game was going, and they made a cartoon about her and made her seem like an angry Black woman. But enough about that. Let's get into the actual topic at hand. I would like to discuss Black filmmakers and their influence on society as a whole. But I thought it'd be best to start from the beginning. And I want to highlight a Black man by the name of Oscar Micheaux. He was the first Black filmmaker during the 1920s to actually start filmmaking and start putting his own films out. He was one of 7 children of former slaves, and he formed his own publishing company to sell his books. Now, that was at the age of like 12, 13. He was going door to door selling books. So he's always been a writer. It's always been a gift. Now, Oscar Micheaux wrote, directed, and produced the silent motion picture, The Homesteader, which included his own experience, and it starred Evelyn Preer, who was also really paving the way for actors and actresses. This movie, The Homesteader, became a novel, the first Black man to have a film become a novel. Now, he also wrote The Exile, which is a film with sound, and it uses autobiographical aspects like the main character leaves Chicago to operate a ranch in South Dakota, which is similar to his life. Now, he also wrote Body and Soul, which introduced Paul Robeson to the movie-going world. Now, anybody who knows Paul Robeson They know that he was an activist, advocate for Black lives, civil rights, member. And he really, really did a good job at balancing being an actor and also standing up for himself. Now, his films, Oscar's films, were shown in white movie theaters. And it didn't include the Negro stereotypes either. They were movies, they were films that had actual meaning, not just to fit so he could get in the door. And his film, which is called Within Our Gates, attacked the racism depicted in D.W. Griffith's film, The Birth of a Nation. And it's so funny that that film was maybe 2 to 3 hours, and it literally scoped the entire world that we live in today. And y'all don't think that a movie could change your mind? Anyways, Oscar Micheaux wrote 44 films and 7 novels, which became a bestseller. You got Ava, who does things like When They See Us. You got F. Gary Gray, who does a lot of comedy. You got Spike Lee, who does very symbolic but interesting ways of showing racism, not just outside but inside too. But, there's always a but. You know what, there's always a but. But I want to know if any of you have any family or friends or co-workers, colleagues who are actually into filmmaking, who are actually making films, pushing things out, showing you how they see the world. Because I do. And I thought it'd be very interesting to interview an up and coming filmmaker, my friend, my homie. So let's get into the interview. Y'all, look who on side of me. My boy is on side of me, but you know what? I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Who are you, bro? Who is this?
All right, fine. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? I'm Zach Paige-Westbrook, actor, producer, director, writer, composer, but most importantly, today I am the owner and founder of Enter the Draco trademark productions.
You said trademark.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
He's an up-and-coming filmmaker and production company owner from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes, indeed. 901.
Graduating senior from Dillon University,
DT.
majoring in theater arts. You ready for the interview?
Okay.
I said the interview.
Interview.
The interview, I am.
There's a lot of questions.
Mind your business.
Damn.
What's the most important quality of a film director?
The most important quality of being a film director? Honestly, man, I think it's imagination. You know what I mean? You gotta have a great imagination. You know, making my films and what I've been in, and it's great to have this just great imagination. You gotta let your inner kid flow. You know what I mean? It's you know what I mean? It's your imagination is a very powerful place. It's a place you can just run and be free and be yourself, where nobody can tell you how to do something, where to do something, whether you can breathe or not, you know what I mean? Whether you can stop at that red light or go at that green light, you know what I mean? Your imagination is where you roam free. It's your most powerful weapon. You know what I mean? Your mind and your imagination. So I honestly think that, being a good filmmaker, you gotta have a great imagination.
How do you make sure that production is on schedule?
It can be hard at times because of what's going on in the world today. You know what I mean?
Wait, what do you mean by what's going on?
Well, of course, you got COVID and stuff like that. That's the main thing. But of course, other people's schedules. You have to think of other people and what they're doing. You know what I mean? My production manager, Naila DeBone.
Shout out to you,
Shout out to Naila DeBone. You know, Naila DeBone. But she's great with getting everybody's schedules together first. That's the first thing that we do. We make sure everybody has a good schedule to where we can work off of that and just post our schedule for shooting. You know what I mean? But gotta get everybody's schedule. Gotta know what everybody's strengths and weaknesses are. And plus, the first thing you gotta have a great team. Gotta have a support team. Gotta have a great support team. That's not only the people that do the stuff, you know what I mean, that do the lights, the sound, the camera work, the cinematography, the acting, you know what I'm saying? You got people like caterers and you got people that do costumes, and you got people that do the sound, you know what I mean? You got people that actually support the
So much goes into that.
Oh, so much goes into that. You know what I mean? And those are all for the number one people that we do this for, which are the fans, the people who...
The audience.
The people who enjoy
art. Do this for Miss Gladys,
you know what
boy.
I'm saying? And yeah, you know what I mean?
How does where you're from influence how and what you make?
You did say you was gonna have good questions.
I said, you feel.
You know, me being from DC, born in, you know, the 202.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And me being raised in Memphis, always remember where you come from, but always never forget where you came from. You know what I mean? I'd say there's a lot of mystery with the DC side of me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of who I am. For those who don't know, I'm adopted. I am. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. I had a troubled childhood for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Family was a little off the rails for a little bit, but no, there's no abuse or anything like that, you know what I mean? But stuff happens, you know what I mean?
Life happens.
Yeah, life happens. And, you know, that's how family goes, you know what I'm saying? So I had gone through my childhood, going out through foster home, got adopted by my grandmother's best friend. She's a saint, Jolene Westbrook. If you're watching this, I love you to this day. Love you, mama. But she's been my support and my rock since day one. You know what I mean? And I say this by saying, you know, she supported me through a lot of stuff. And being at her age, at what she is, at her age now, you know what I mean? There's so much stuff that I can do for her. But the one thing that she wants is for me to be successful, you know, and not be successful like rich or wealthy, anything like that. Meaningly successful, meaning happy with what I'm doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So I feel like, and that's how Memphis is. Memphis people from Memphis want you to strive. They do. If anybody watching from Memphis, we want you to strive. We really do. We may come off as aggressive or mean, as people say, but we're really passionate people. You know what I mean? I grew up around the older generation. So, and if anybody will support, if anybody will support, you know what I'm saying, anything the young folks are doing for a good cause, it's the older generation.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So I say basically where I came from I came a lot from the older generation. And you have to look from that to go into the future. You know what I mean? Because we have our faults, they have our faults, but we can learn from our past. You know what I mean? We really can.
What makes a film great?
Right. So like I said, gotta have a beginning, gotta have a middle, gotta have an end, gotta have conflict. And by conflict, you know, let's use My Brother's Keeper for an example.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You got two brothers, you got Lance and Lewis, you got that side. You got side B or side 2, you have the pack, the gang. Now, when you draw this, or like a family tree or a bubble or how you brainstorm, you know what I mean? One of the protagonists, Lance or Lewis, has to have a conflict. You know what I mean? That conflict being Lewis has joined the pack, but when he's been called, he hasn't been coming. So the conflict is they take him and they bring the other guy in. They have to bring him in. Right. You know what I mean? The conflict with that being Lance was already a part of the pack. But Lewis didn't know that. So it's a conflict internally between brothers, externally with the situation.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So you gotta have conflict.
Wow.
The resolution being you gotta have something that's gonna be easing on the soul and on the mind. You know what I mean?
So has this series gotten to its resolution yet?
It hasn't. You'll see more of that in episode 3.
I'm excited.
You will. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. A lot of what I've been hearing, everybody loves it. Everybody loves the music. They're like, where's Draco? Where's the action? So you're gonna get a lot of action in episode 3. That's all I can say though. That's all I can say. You want your action? You got it. I got y'all.
An actor or crew member is unprofessional.
Okay.
How do you handle it?
All right. Seeing as a crew member.
No. Let me put a little twist on it.
All right.
You know,
okay.
This is BlkGirlsSpeak, so I tend to go for the black community.
Right.
This actor or said crew member is black. How do you handle it? Being that you're a producer.
He's a production company owner.
Owner and founder.
Okay. You got a crew member or actor that is unprofessional, never on time, rude. How do you handle it? Your people, how do you handle it?
Well, we all know that I ain't gonna say our kind,
okay.
but you know what I'm saying. Our
what you
people,
saying? What you saying?
We can be a little, you know what I'm saying, run on a different time. You know what I mean? If you get what I'm saying.
Okay, all right.
But
all right.
when it becomes an current thing, you know what I mean? It makes it seem like you don't care about it. You know what I'm saying? To work, to love something, you must labor for it. You know what I mean? You have to work. You have to make it serious. All that is good and accomplished in the work takes work. Takes work. And everything else is J-I-V-E mother child.
Okay, now continue. I'm sorry.
All right. Unprofessionalism, man. That's taken seriously.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Especially with how the industry is now. You know what I mean? Especially with us growing, young, up and coming Black artists that are coming out, and those that are out to this day, they still suffer from, you know, racism and prejudice and unprofessionalism and stuff like that. What I say to those young Black upcoming artists that go through those struggles and go through those predicaments of racism, prejudice, or having low confidence or something like that, something that hinders you from doing what you want, I say keep going. Don't give up. You know what I mean? Perseverance is a virtue, and perseverance goes a long way with me. You know what I'm saying? To switch your question from unprofessional professionalism, if I may, what makes something professional is something that you care about, something that you strive for, something that you live for, you work for it. If it's good for you and it's good for others, you invest time, you invest money. If in that case you invest energy. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that goes into being a professional. You know, it's not just getting paid or getting money or getting credits. It's something or anything like that. It's building character towards yourself. You know what I mean? Because every role that I get, every role that has been bestowed upon me, it's changed my life throughout for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I always learn something from each role that I have. You know what I mean? And I build that to my own character. So because when I die, when you die, the only thing you leave are your kids. That's true. But what also you leave is your legacy as a person. You know what I mean? I want to be known as this great actor, of course, but in essence, I want to be known as this great human being. You know what I mean? This lover of mankind who doesn't fear anything but the man upstairs. And by fear, I don't mean like, you know, I'm scared of this, scared or anything. I mean in a return of respect. You know what I mean? I want to be known for having a great sense of attitude, a great sense of humor, somebody that will lift you up when you're down. You know what I mean? Somebody that if you have a talent, you will benefit from your talent if you're with me. You know what I mean? I set that goal for myself, but I want to set that goal for everybody else too. If you have a goal, if you have a passion, if you have something you crave for, go for it, do it. Because at the end of the day, a wise man once told me, "What have you got to lose?"
So I'm gonna take that response as if you're unprofessional with his company, he's gonna tell you to keep going, but he's gonna tell you to kindly
exit the door.
Boom.
I want to see you strive, just not at my table.
Woo, done. That was the answer right there. Moving on. Is it harder to get started or is it harder to keep going? I'll wait.
Is it harder to start or is it harder to keep going?
That's a good ass question.
It is a good ass question. It's harder to end the most, man.
Okay.
It's harder to end.
Expound.
I expound on that because to start a script, you just have to write or type those first little words.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To keep going, of course, you have to invest your time and your energy and your money, and of course that. To end and to finally be done with something, you know what I mean? I feel like that's the difficulty that us artists have. You know what I mean? And by end, you know what I mean? I say like end with it on good terms. I don't mean to where, you know, you end something and it's like, oh, well, it's done. Maybe I can do something else to make it better. No, I mean, end something and be on good terms
and be
satisfied. You know what I'm saying? Us artists have to be, and satisfaction goes a long way with us artists.
It does.
It really does. You know what I mean? Because we can never be truly satisfied with ourselves.
That's
because
fair.
we can always be better than what we just performed or what we just was. You know what I mean? Just what we just were. Tongue twisters and lip twisters and lip ringers.
They knew what you meant.
You know what I meant.
But I feel that though, because I'm an actor.
She's a great actress at that. She's a great actress. Don't let this nature fool you. Okay, when she gets on the stage, she shows her ass, not literally, but you know what I mean. Everybody know what I mean.
I'm an actor, but I also produce content for this podcast. And y'all, he's not lying when I tell you I can record something and be like, nope.
Right.
I gotta do it again.
Right.
That didn't sound right. That didn't sound right. So you're telling nothing but facts.
Hell
so
yeah.
yours is ending. Yours is harder to end.
It's harder to end, you know what I mean? And that's like when we're producing and we're going into shooting and production. You know, when something is so great, you want it to last. You really do. When something is so great, you want it to last.
You do.
You know what I'm saying? But it's human nature for us to always want that end. You know what I mean? Because it's human nature for all things to end. You know what I mean? That's in science. Matter's neither created nor destroyed, but just transferred from one thing to the other.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What are the most influential films you've ever seen? Like those films where you were like, oh, this, I want to be a director. I want to be a filmmaker because of this movie right here.
Okay. So I'll start out with my favorite film of all time. Of course, I'm corny. I'm goofy. I like all that shit. You know what I mean? So I say Rush Hour 2 is my favorite film. You know what I'm saying?
That's a classic.
Well, of course, it's the diversity of the film. One, you know what I mean? And two, it's the actors that are in it. And they make it so unique, it's different.
It is.
You know, because who would have pictured a black man, a black detective, and an Asian detective would be the funniest thing ever made? You know what I mean? Not being funny and being like, oh, look at that. It's mean like their cultures are so diverse that they can get along. You know what I mean? And they can get along in harmony. And it's to a harmony to the point where they can put it on video for everybody to enjoy.
Okay, give me another one.
All right. The Game Plan. I'll say everybody knows I'm a Dwayne Johnson fan. I am. I've been a Dwayne Johnson fan since I was
Y'all, it's
kid.
like aggravating, but keep
It is, but it's not more. It's like I'll get into that later.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll get into that later.
Exactly.
The Game Plan one that told me like Disney does their thing. They really do. And
they do.
Disney can make their thing, and they do it well.
They do it.
You know, with that movie, that taught me.
I know you watched Soul.
Oh, of course. Oh.
They did a thing. See, it's another.
First of all, Jamie Foxx is a cold ass human being.
That man there, y'all.
You know, man, he can sing, he can act. Oh,
I'm
gonna meet him one day.
We have to.
I'm gonna meet him one day.
We got to.
Jamie! Come on, man. If you haven't seen The Game Plan, The Rock, he plays the star quarterback for the Boston Rebels football team. And at some point, his daughter comes to his door saying, like, I'm your daughter. I take care of her now. You know
Madison
what I mean?
Pettis.
Madison Pettis, yes. Which is funny thing about her is she's born the day before I am. Like, same day, same year. So I'm like, oh, okay.
You think it's fine.
Okay. But that taught me that he was a single parent. He was a single father. You know what I mean? And that's hard for a parent to raise a kid by themselves. You know what I mean? I've witnessed that with my mother. You know what I mean? I don't have that. My father's gone. You know what I'm saying? I don't know of him. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? But I have father figures that I looked up to as a dad. You know what I mean? And being that and having my mother, I was blessed. But I did have that sense of, you know, how the struggle single parents go through.
Yes.
Now, he was a single parent that had money, you know what I'm saying, because he was a football player, but it was still having the struggle. And then he was a black parent with a black daughter.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that raises an even more sense of protection. You know what I mean? So that taught me a lot too. But that'll be for later on in life when Junior comes out, and Lil Draco comes out.
Lil Draco.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Well, there were others, of course, Forrest Gump.
But those two are the main. What? No, Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, Tom Hanks, one, is a great actor.
Don't I had to make you say that. Wait, Forrest Gump.
I watch movies as us actors, you know what I'm saying? As I'll say as consumers, you watch movies to be entertained.
But as
actors, you watch to learn.
And to like pinpoint.
And to pinpoint stuff.
I don't like the way he cried in that scene.
Right, exactly. And if you're a great actor, if you're a good or great actor or a working actor, which we are, you know what I mean? There's a difference between celebrity actors and working actors. And we'll get more on that later. But working actors, you know what I mean? They do their stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? But we see what is on the TV now and we see what we can do to make it better. Right. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they did it well, but I feel like one of us could have done it better. Or not to say one of us, but it could have been done differently. Yeah. You know, it's an acting thing. We be like, that was cute, but I feel like if I would have got that, I would have smashed it. And it's not competition. Right. It's more of us bettering our craft. Basically. You know what I mean? Because you have the arts, you have sports, you have business, and of course you're gonna have competition in those fields and in those realms. Right. But with us, it's not more of like competition, it's more of, I see what you're doing, I see the benefit that you're bringing, and I wanna benefit off that and make it better. Basically. You know what I mean? That's pretty much us as an actor. You know, always strive to be better than what you were or what somebody else was or is doing now. I love acting. Like, don't you love that? Acting really does. It does something internally to you. Like it kind of forces you to be like yourself. Right. You gotta be yourself, man, with this, because you can't play with it. Like acting ain't nothing. People are gonna know when you're forcing it. Right. As far as acting wise, we can always tell somebody. Your biggest competition in acting and your biggest enemy is yourself. Literally. You know what I mean? What's the hardest lesson that you had to learn as far as filmmaking? The hardest lesson. Ooh. Or in other terms, have you learned it yet? I know there's a point where I am going to learn it. I don't know, and I don't want to speak that on me, but there's, Murphy's Law. Yeah. It's not rejection that I fear. It's making something and making something good and it not being seen. You know what I mean? It's not the rejection, it's the not viewing of it. It's not being visible or not being public. Okay. That's the most troubling thing I have as a filmmaker. And that's the thing with all, because everybody wants fans, everybody wants fans, everybody wants fortune. Yes. I want people to see good, quality, talented people doing something that they love, because that's art. So you feel like you haven't learned it yet? I don't feel like, because I'm just starting off. You know what I mean? Which is why I said, I'm just starting off of what You're doing amazing, though. I hope so. You know what I mean? I mean, he's doing amazing. Like. I hope so. I really hope everybody is enjoying what I push, what we push out, because I'm very humble. I don't like saying a lot. I really don't. I say it a lot, but I don't like saying it because nobody does anything by themselves. Right. I mean, the only person who has done that, Jesus Christ. But right. But you don't go through life by yourself. You know what I mean? You don't come out the womb and be like, all right, life, let's do it. Right. No, it doesn't happen like that. You have parents, you have friends, you have family. External factors. Yeah, you got cousins, you got homies, you got everybody. You got supporters. It takes a village. It really does. You know what I mean? It takes a village to get things started. I say that by saying I didn't do all this stuff myself. Right. The only thing I did was enter the Draco. I came up with the name. Right. You know what I mean? But I didn't register it like on my own. You know what I'm saying? I had help doing that. I didn't shoot My Brother's Keeper like by myself. I had help with Jawan St. Charles, and I had great actors to do the dialogue from the script, like Deron Dunbar and Jaquez Deshaun Chandler and Elver Stewart Jr. and Tristan Igby and stuff like that. And those name drop. Name drop. But it takes a village. It takes a support team. Nobody does everything by themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now there is a point where there is one thing that you got. If you strive for something, you're gonna have to do it on your own. You're gonna have to do it on your own. But you're not gonna, I'll say you may start on your own, but you're not gonna finish on your own. Exactly. I'll say that. You'll never end on your own. Never.
If you could change the film industry, how would you change it?
I would change it to where there's honestly no prejudice, no racism, no downing of other people's content and creativity and imagination, where
because it doesn't fit with you.
Yeah, it doesn't fit what you want. You know what I mean? I wish we would have an industry where you can put your content out, and as soon as you do it gets noticed. You know what I mean? You don't have to go through a system of getting promoters or something like that, or doing this or doing that just to get views. You know what I mean? I wish we had an industry to where women, and especially women of color, were much more shed in a better light. You know what I mean? Because
for sure.
I want to start preaching.
No, you have to. This is Black Girls
Screw
Speak.
it. We'll do it live. No, I'm kidding. In this industry right now,
Speak it, please.
Women of color should be, if not, they are, but they should be dominating more in our industry. They really should. You know what I mean? And of course.
And this is coming from another black man, not just.
Well, of course, because women go through a lot more. Black men go through struggles in life. We really do.
Yeah.
We go through struggles in life. We're born with a
yeah.
target on our back as soon as we're born.
Soon as you're born, love.
You know what I mean? But black women go through way worse things than the black man. You know what I'm saying? You got unequal pay for one. You know, you got sex and slave trade that's going on in the Congo, that's going on in the Republic of the Congo and Cameroon. And with Boko Haram and all that stuff, women have to turn their heads in a 360 everywhere they go. I wish we lived in an industry where we treated our women of color and women period with a sense of entitlement. You know what I'm saying? Because they go through things that we as us males don't go through, and we will never go through. Women are much more, they say the male is much more dominant species. But the female species is much more stronger. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all go through unbearable pains. It's like through childbirth. You know what I'm saying? And I think I take pride on coming from a woman. You know what I'm saying? Cause man, I don't want to just be like women.
It's called Black Girls Speak for a reason.
But y'all are strong. Y'all have power.
For a reason.
Women have power. The black woman is the strongest and most powerful of all. You know.
Shout out to Coco.
Yeah. Shout out to Lady Draco.
You're doing your job, bro.
And you know what I'm saying? Because everybody goes through things.
Facts.
Everybody goes through, you know, their trials, their tribulations, their heartbreaks and stuff like that. I've gone through my heartbreaks.
Right, we all
You know
have.
what I mean? But it took a woman for me to see the light. You know what I mean? It took a black woman for me to see that everything's gonna be okay, that the world is on your shoulders, but you got somebody to lift up your shoulders with you. You know what I'm saying? We gotta stick together. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? We don't need to be tearing down us black brothers. We don't need to be tearing down our black women and our black sisters.
It's like a gender war.
Yeah, it is a gender war.
I don't like that.
Who's much more dominant? Oh,
Right.
I don't need you.
Who goes through
I
it
don't need
worse?
you.
Like,
You know
we
what I'm
both go through it.
Right, we all go through it. You know what I mean?
What makes a bad film? What makes a I'm talking about like just, why would you put that out like that?
Well, I say timing for one. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to come out this, you know what I mean, with Trayvon Martin and the Black Lives Matter movement happening and becoming a start as, you know, as soon as we're getting to college.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? As soon as we were freshmen.
Yeah, it was like.
But like right after that, Birth of a Nation, the remastered version came out. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like that was it wasn't bad. I'd say it was a bad film because of how it was presented, how it was produced, and when it was
because the
presented.
first one was, the first one created a whole system.
Well, yeah, because the first one that came out in 1918 is the first like movie ever made.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's something to go off of. History sucks, but it's what the industry goes off of now. You know what I'm saying? That was a 3-hour film when it came out in 1918. 3 hours.
Right.
I would say timing for one with the production of the movie. You know, and also with timing, you don't want something that's long to be shot so short. You know what I mean? You want to take your time. Timing is essential. Time is essential. Time is money. You know what I mean? You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste your money. You don't want to waste your energy. You know what I mean? Especially in a bad film to where you need this done. You need this done now, and it's done, but it's not done properly, and it's rushed. You don't want a rushed film, and a rushed film makes a bad film because people will see that. You know what I'm saying? People know a rush film from a film that's taking time and taking quality. You know what I mean? That has the right people and has the right organization and is organized right. You know what I mean? Nobody wants
your key thing is timing, and it makes perfect sense. Like you don't want to film too long, you don't want to film too short. You don't want to drop it at the wrong time.
Right? Exactly. You know what I mean? And like with me, I haven't like done a whole film. Shot from start to finish.
Coming soon.
But definitely. But I have shot episodes. The thing that scars.
How long are your episodes?
My episodes get longer each time. They started episode 1 started at 12 minutes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's good for the first episode and my first thing that I came out with.
Right.
For being good 12 solid quality minutes.
Right.
It's not bad.
Right.
Episode 2. Made it a little longer because we had to explain some more things. The drama had to be there more. The dynamics were changed from what we had shot previously to how we shot it now.
Right.
You know what I mean? We had to get everybody's schedule straight. It took in between those 4 months, it took work. You know what I mean? We dropped episode 1 on October 23rd, 2020. You know what I'm saying? We dropped episode 2, February 20th, 2021.
Right.
That's 4 or 5 months in between. And plus, we're in college. You know what I mean? We're graduating seniors.
Mind you, we're in college.
We're graduating seniors from
we're about to graduate. And this is the content.
And
the content.
You know what I mean?
On.
And it's like, I don't want, the timing with that is, it took 4 months. The thing that scarred me the most was, I don't want people to forget. You know what I mean? Like, you put something out that's great, it's awesome.
Right.
We want episode 2. We need a part 2 because I ended on a cliffhanger.
You did.
That was the thing.
You did.
If you end on a cliffhanger to get people interested, you know what I'm saying? You got something. You got something because they'll stay. You got something to stay for. But how long will they stay is the predicament that to worry about. You know what I mean? Because it's like a party. You go to a party and I'm like, oh, it's a cool vibe, you know what I'm saying? And it gets better when more people start to come in and stuff like that, and bigger names start to come in. But when you have a party that's like, okay, it's cool, and then everybody goes and say like all those cool people that was there and left and went to another party, and that party now is just like,
right?
You know what I mean? That's the fear that I had. You know what I mean? Still being relevant in that time period. You know, that you drop stuff in.
Well, I mean, it's been 4 months and you dropped the episode.
But it was a good 4 months. It's not like I was,
and you weren't silent. You weren't silent.
Oh, of course. You can't be silent. You know what I mean? Never. Your voice is powerful. Your voice is powerful. Never be silent about anything. If something's troubling you, if something makes you tick, something that makes you go, Shout out to Cordell Clark. Shout out to Cordell Clark. Something that makes you go, You know what I mean? Speak out about it. Use your voice. Your voice is the most powerful thing that you can have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Besides your mind. You know, that's the most powerful. That's the most important muscle in your body. Right. Your brain. Your thinking cap. You know what I mean? Your engine to your blood and vessel car. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like what you're doing is a responsibility to the culture, to your culture?
By my culture.
I have my book down for that one because I want to get into this.
By my culture, what do you mean?
Black people.
Black culture. With the stuff that I come out with, you know what I mean? It's, you know, you have the stuff like hip hop now. You know, it's all, I ain't gonna say it's all mumble rap and sipping on lean and banging hoes and having, you know, the best cars and stuff like that. Right. You know what I mean? That sells tickets and that sells records, you know what I'm saying? But that's not what it's about. Externally, like with My Brother's Keeper, it's great quality content, you know what I mean? But it's still something that's covered that's still being done to this day. You know, black on black crime. You know what I mean? With every production, everything I come out with, I want there to be a meaning behind it.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Yes, Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean? They gotta matter to us first, though. You know what I mean? And they do matter to us. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm not saying that they don't matter to us at all. I'm saying if they matter, then we gotta stop killing each other. And I say that with all my heart. You know what I mean? Because how can we ask for opportunities from, you know, the other side? You know what I mean? When we're down in each other, you know what I mean? That's not right. We're banding against each other when we should be banding together. Because the stuff's happening to us. You know what I mean? The shit's hitting the fan. If I can speak French, you know what I mean? Shit's hitting the fan with us. We gotta stick together. We gotta band together.
Man.
I write this stuff for people to have motivation, for people to be determined to be not successful, but do what they want to do and love it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm doing what I want to do, you're doing what you want to do, and we love it. You know what I mean? It's not for us. For me, yeah, you know, money runs the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't do this to get paid. I do this because I love this. I do this because I got a destiny to fulfill, man. Like I come from actors and actresses, and I come from people who worked on the stage, and I come from people who are singers, and I come from people who have Emmy awards and daytime television awards and stuff like that. I come from history and education with my other side of my family.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I got a mission in life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I've had this since I was a kid. You know what I mean? And the fact that I stayed with it and I didn't shy away from it when I had other opportunities that I didn't know of or didn't want to put myself in, but I still got in anyway. I didn't let what I wanted to do shy away from what I was doing. Right. I mean, I was in the military for a little bit, for a hot second. I'm not a veteran, but I was in there for a hot second. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I didn't shy away from theater. You know what I mean? I did for a little bit to do what I had to do with the military, but I didn't let the military shy away from what I had to do or what I wanted to do, and which was theater and film and being on the stage and performing. You know what I mean? Because that's how I was. When I went to basic training, they said, "What do you want to do, Paige?" I said, "I want to be a performer." You know what I mean? So you joined the army to be a fucking comedian? I was like, well, "Yeah, sure, Drill Sergeant. I don't know," but I didn't hinder that away from me. You know what I mean? With martial arts, I'm a martial artist, you know what I mean? Like world champion, like national champion, all that. You know what I mean? 3rd degree black belt in Taekwondo. Shout out to Midtown Taekwondo. I'm gonna send it to them. They're gonna see it. That was something that I could use to benefit. I live by a whole bunch of quotes. Bruce Lee, great philosopher, great martial artist, great actor, is a man I look up to this day. You know what I mean? And Bruce, when his words and his quotes, they're like poetry in motion. And one quote is, adapt, take what is useful, discard what is necessary, and adapt to what is uniquely your own. You know what I mean? What I took from the military was that it takes a support team. It takes a team. You don't do everything by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Even in the military, with the Navy SEAL, there wasn't that one person who shot like Osama bin Laden. He went in there, you know, I'm being real. He went in there with a team. You know what I'm saying? Like with martial arts, yeah, I was in the ring by myself, but I was on the USA team. Right. You know what I'm saying? I had trained with that team. You know what I mean? What I had taken from martial arts is humility. You know what I mean? Arrogance. And that's something I fear to this day too. I don't want to become arrogant. I don't want to, when people people see my confidence and my passion and think it's arrogance when it's not. I have a whole bunch
of
Right.
You know, it's good to be, you know, humble, but never humble yourself to fix somebody else's insecurities. That's your job. It's not my fault that you're not doing what I'm doing. If you were disciplined like me, you'd be doing the same thing.
Somebody's always going to be better than you. You know what I mean? Because I've had my win streaks, I've had my loss streaks, I've had my undefeated streaks, I've had my championships and stuff like that. But there's always somebody that was better than me in the ring. Right. But what I learned from that was I can learn from somebody who's better than me to put in my repertoire so I can become the best. You know, it's not pride. It's more of, like I said, confidence. You know what I mean? I have a huge amount of confidence in myself. You know what I mean? Because everybody else has confidence in me.
They should.
And if anybody else has confidence in you, then the one person that should have had confidence is yourself. You. You know what I mean? And it took me a while. It took me a while to learn that. It took me a while to learn that I'm great.
It takes
I am. It took me a while to learn. I had to learn from other people.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I don't know. And I still suffer that from this day. But know your worth. Know your worth.
And not this word.
And not this word, this word.
Yeah,
in
man.
your essence, in your soul, in your spirit.
Yeah, man.
Know. Can I speak French?
Can you?
Know who the fuck you are. Know what you're good at. Use that to benefit you. And if it's benefiting you and you got people that have stuck by you since day one, use that to benefit them. If you got a talent, use it. If you got a voice, use it. If you got a pen and you can Picasso the fuck out of canvas, use it. If you can, and that goes beyond art. You know what I mean? Because art is anything that we can see that has beauty in it. But that goes beyond art. That goes in anything you do. If you're a lawyer, defend that goddamn case. If you're a trash collector, goddamn, throw that damn trash in that truck. You are needed. You are needed somewhere. That's another thing I like to say. Yes. You are needed somewhere. Know your worth because you are needed somewhere.
The gems, man.
You know what I mean? You know
the gems, man.
You got to know your worth, and you got to know that you're needed somewhere. Don't give up. These are Draco's words of wisdom. Don't give up. Know your worth. What was the other one? Know your worth. Don't give up. Dang. It be like that when I'm going, man. When I be rambling, I'll be going.
What's next, Draco?
Well, got My Brother's Keeper episode 1 out. Got My Brother's Keeper episode 2 out. We got some music that's out. Pack Boys for Life. That's streaming on Apple
all
Music.
of that will be in the description box below. Y'all already know I put all of that in.
Right.
When you want to go, you just go to there and you just pick it up. You know, I'm going to have it there for you. I got that for you.
But, you know what I mean? Pack Boys for Life is out.
Okay.
My Brother's Keeper original soundtrack will be coming soon.
Okay.
We're going to release that 3 days before episode 3 comes out, the finale. You know what I mean? The finale is going to be great. It's going to be action-packed. I'll say, I don't want to spoil it, but I'll say,
Don't spoil it. Okay, spoil it, but don't spoil it. You know what I mean?
Prepare to be in awe. Prepare to just have your jaw drop. That's all I'm going to say. And I say that in meaning not just of like how we produced it, but the time. Just look at the time and the energy that we put into it. And the love that we have for the stuff that we are doing. And we do this for you guys. You know what I'm saying? I do it for myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would be like, damn, we made that.
right, exactly.
We made that.
Right.
And it's a good feeling to just create something and to push it out and for other people to see it. But it's just great internally for you to be like, wow.
I did that.
I did that. You know what I mean? And it's not in movies, you know what I'm saying? Because us DUT folk, us theater majors and theater majors around the country, you know what I mean? And theater people in general, when we create something, we're damn proud of what we did because we had either never done it before or something we didn't know about that we didn't want to touch. The Pack Boys album is going to be coming out soon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're working on that. We got some new tunes. We got new music coming out that I'm composing. And it's fun. It's fun composing. It really is. I never thought of me being like Lil Zay or something like that. You know what I mean?
They told me.
Episode 3 is coming out. The first movie script that I wrote, Enter the Draco. I'm saving that for a great time, but I can tell you that's next. I want that to be next. I really do. Because that one hits home.
A film is next.
A film is next. A film is next.
You heard it here first, man.
A film is next.
You heard it here first.
And I promoted, you know what I'm saying, trailers of like Enter the Draco and stuff like that. But this one hits home with me, you know what I'm saying, because Bruce Lee, and of course, he's a role model of mine. He came out with Enter the Dragon. Enter the Dragon is his best work that he ever produced. You know what I'm saying? I hate that, you know what I'm saying, right after that, he couldn't he wasn't able to see his premiere. You know what I'm saying? Because he had tragically died before it was when it was done, but before released to the public. You know what I mean? And I hate that. You know what I mean? But I feel his legacy should continue. You know what I'm saying? And the legacy of martial arts and martial arts films. Period. Because when's the last time you seen a martial arts film?
Karate Kid.
Yeah.
He said yes.
Yeah. But I mean, from like I'm not down to Jaden Smith at all, but I mean from like an actual martial artist. You got Michael Jai. Of course, you got like Michael Jai White. You got John Claude Van Damme. You know what I mean? And of course, you got the old ones who've gone on, but they've done their thing on this earth, like Bruce Lee and his son Brandon Lee, who was supposed to be this big star, like right after his I forgot what movie it was, but he was supposed. The Crow. He's supposed to be this big star after that, and he tragically died too. I call it the curse of the leaves. You know what I mean?
Honestly,
but they had to go on so their legacy to continue. You know what I mean? I want to continue that legacy with the legacy of martial arts and martial arts films because he innovated that. Bruce innovated that.
He did.
You know, bringing the world of cinema and film with the world and realm of martial arts and self-defense and putting them together and making art. It's time. It really is. It's time for something new.
You heard it here first.
For the industry, it's time for a change.
You heard it here first.
You know what I mean?
You heard it here first.
Oh yeah.
You heard it here first.
Because us black martial artists,
man.
we're cold as shit. You know what I mean? And you got guys like Adesanya and John Jones and Keith Merritt and TJ Webb.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And Dane Turner and stuff like that. Great competitors of the realm, you know what I mean, that don't get recognition. You know what I mean? I like to put guys like that in my films, you know what I mean, so they can get that recognition. You heard me. You know what I mean?
You want to put y'all in.
Oh, exactly. You know what I mean? I came from martial arts. I was an international competitor. I know how it is, you know what I'm saying, being on the road and stuff like that, going from tournament to tournament and being in weight divisions and losing weight or gaining weight to be in that said division and stuff like that. I remember going pound to pound with guys from England and Wales and Turkey and South Africa and stuff like that and Scotland, you know what I mean? To do all those great things and be before the age of 21, before the age of 18, that's an incredible story to tell. You know what I mean? And for a guy like me that came from a lot of stuff, I came up, you know what I mean? And to be able to do that, going out of the country for my first time and like competing in a world championship, that's a story that needs to be told. That's history. That's black history. You know what I mean?
We're ready for you.
Oh man. I'm ready to
I don't even want him to talk no more. I don't even want you to talk no more because you were already giving everybody too much anyway.
Shout out to Elvin Stewart. Shout out to Deshaun Chandler, Deron Dunbar, Tristan Igby, Jawan St. Charles, Shaylin Allen, Cordell Clark, Sugar Ray Brazil. Rest in peace to Sherry Marina. You know what I mean? Shout out to Cleo, shout out to BlkGirlsSpeak, man, shout out to DUT, shout out to Enter the Draco Production, shout out to support black artists, support black film, support black education, support black anything.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to you, the fan,
right?
The fan, man. That's what we make this stuff for, man. That's what we make this for. Shout out to y'all. Subscribe, like, leave a comment to my girl BlkGirlsSpeak. Subscribe, like to Enter the Draco Productions on the YouTube channel. Go stream My Brother's Keeper episode 2. We're at 5K views. We're keeping it up. We want to thank y'all for y'all support. Continue to stream BlkGirlsSpeak. Watch this episode. Leave a like and comment and a timestamp for your favorite part of the episode, favorite part of the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm Zach Paige-Westbrook, owner and founder of Enter the Draco Productions.
Yes, sir. I'm saying who I am. You guys know who I am. This is CleoDaGodmother from BlkGirlsSpeak, and this was episode 3. Black Entertainment Matters. Well, the topic has been discussed from my perspective and from Zachary Paige-Westbrook's perspective, but what about yours? Find your voice, use your voice, and start a meaningful conversation in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. I see you, I hear you, and I love you. I will see you all in the next episode.